Hello and welcome back to Rony's Tuesday Fun Race on Sim Broadcasts. Now, if anyone joined us on Thursday for Fragmasters GTI Thursday with the GTIs, then we're in for more fun tonight because we're using the XF GTI at Westhill National for the extra large edition of Rony's Tuesday Fun Race at Westhill National. I'm Peter Butcher, you're watching Sim Broadcasts, and as ever for this series, I'm joined in the commentary box by Eoin Harmon and Miika Sarkinen. Gents, how are you doing this afternoon? It's been a while. Let's get into the action.
I'm doing fine, Pete. Thanks for asking, and I'm looking forward to more RT4 XLs. Has indeed been a while. So how is Miika?
Yeah, I'm decent as well. Really been a while for me. Skipped the last two races, I think, but I'm glad to be back here.
Yeah, ready to get stuck in for some more action this evening. Well, let's see what's in store for us. It's been a while, so let's refresh ourselves with what goes on in this series. Of course, we are on round 8 of 12. This series runs once every month in the Speed on a Tuesday. Today, August the 9th, we are at Westhill National, the 68th ever edition of Rony's Tuesday Fun Race XL. So, yeah, those numbers keep clocking up and up and up. Let's have a look at the combo we're in for this evening. The 4.4 kilometre, 2.7 mile Westhill National configuration, WE1, which used to be the config for the international circuit, rather confusingly, but nope, it's been switched for the national circuit in the Speed. And we're in for a 37 lap race at 10 past the hour with a 10-second mandatory pit stop. So plenty of laps for these drivers to fizzle out an order and work out which order they're going to be in when the flag comes down at around, well, about 7:30 UTC. So, Eoin, Miika, you've been keeping an eye, hopefully, on the qualifying session with the GTI class. Here we are, the XFG 1.3 litre inline 4 front engine, front wheel drive car, the most infamous car in Live for Speed, pretty much the demo car, the car that it all began with way back when. Pretty much the car everyone gets going with straight away when they get a Live for Speed license. Gents, who's leading the timesheets on the track?
So far, it's a very strong session for Born to Race, and they have position 1 courtesy of Mantas at 2 minute 2.9, the only driver to have hit that benchmark so far. So just Unite has a spot in second place there, just 10th behind, but not quite within that position range. And then you can see the other Born to Race members, Locos there, Upsas, Twin Cam, and 136 all in the top 10.
Yeah, so Mantas taking over his performance from last Thursday's session straight into this session, topping the timesheets by just over a tenth, as you allude to, with Unite in second place. Miika, while we were on our summer break, we saw you joining in for a few of the RTFR races. What do you make of this combo for the drivers today?
Well, I guess it's not going to be like as even a match as we have seen those mod combos lately, since this is a car that like everyone's been driving so far and so much. So I guess the top guys will have like bit of an edge, like compared to the like newer guys. But it's gonna be exciting to see how it turns out.
Yeah, I mean, everybody on this grid has experience in the XFG. If you don't have experience in the XFG and you drive in LFS, then I question what you've been doing for the last however many years. But there we are. Yeah, you're right. The drivers have all got up to speed with this car pretty quickly. The spread of times is currently 4.2 seconds, but I imagine that Temperato will improve that time. So for the spread, down to 15th place, everybody's separated by just over a second. I expect again that time that gap to come down in the 4 minutes that we have remaining in this session here. And as we take a look at Asker now, Asker has yet to set a time, along with a couple of other drivers. Actually, we don't have a particularly large grid yet, but that's because quite a lot of drivers out on the circuit have yet to set a representative lap time. Asker is one of them. He's coming up to the final corner of it.
Yeah, this is his chance to get somewhere on the board with the last 3.5 minutes to go. I would suspect he should be knocking on the door of his teammate Koivunen there. That would be a good benchmark to hit. But obviously he has other teammates in the mid-pack there, like Järgtila and Teemu Soini. But with an unusual nickname today, it is, of course, Joni Katila in P6 there, the sightest monkey. Obviously, the inter-team rivalries are going to be on show again here today. So Arska 23rd at the moment, but that is very much just a banker lap. I expect a lot better to come before too long.
Yeah, definitely. That's not a representative lap from Asker, but it will be if he doesn't manage to get an improvement in the next 2 minutes. So there we are. That's the way it goes. Here's Fatal. We're used to seeing him now up at the top of the GTI grids. So yeah, don't expect to see anything different here today unless it goes wrong for the Fragmaster driver. Fatal is currently P3 for Fragmasters and a quarter of a second off pole. He'll be wanting to improve on that time, I'm sure. Who else have we got out there? Here's Yaroloco, crowd favourite. He's normally in the crowd, literally, but here we are. He's actually on the track. Can you believe it, Owen?
Yeah, that's quite a sight, I suppose. Yeah, he'll be looking to do better than 18th. Yeah, nice looking livery there. Haven't seen it before. Must be a new one for the team.
And here we are. Cameras pan to the first of the Born to Race crowd. We've got 3 of them here today. 4 of them, in fact. Currently leading the way is Loco in P4, Upsas in P5, then Twin Cam in P7, and then this man, 136 miles per hour, who's coming around the final corner, looking to make an improvement then. Let's see what he can manage as he winds the car up out of this parabolic final corner and weaves his way up straight towards start-finish. Let's see what he can manage. It's quite a distance in the XFG, quite a long straight. Not the fastest car in the world. Here he comes, across the line, and no improvement, Owen.
That'll be a source of disappointment there. Still has time for one last attempt, as long as he has enough fuel and tyre grip. to keep him going. Rick Hardle here is getting prepared, and he'll want to try and break that wall of Born to Race drivers in front of him, and get as close to his teammate as possible. So he should come around the final corner, and then he'll get straight on the power from this point on. He'll want to be flat out all the way to the first turn, and that looks fine to me.
Yeah, this car being slow and the track being quite wide, there are a number of lines which can work for you, and that's important in the race, obviously, because you're forced off your line more time than not. Ricciardo will go for one more lap because he will not be happy with P8. His teammate currently in P2, and as Ricciardo comes to the first corner of what will be his final timed lap, because we only have 30 seconds left in the session, of course, he needs to dig deep. He needs to improve on that, and it's very, very hard to find time in this car, especially when the top 8 are only covered by just over 0.4 of a second. So yeah, a lot of work for Rick Cardle to do then. Let's see, Fatal has been displaced by Joni Katila, world-class line Sidus Monkey there, by one position down to P4. And yeah, Fatal will not have much time to improve as he comes to the final corner. This will be his final time lap. We've hit 0, and yeah, the final car will be Rick Cardle to set a timed lap. No one else crossed the timing line before him. After him, before the clock hit 0. So here comes Fatal. Miika, what can you hope for on this lap?
I hope he's gonna get better. I hope the top 3 for him, for sure. And yeah, he's made it.
There you go.
So far, at least.
Well, we'll have to see if Joni Katila is still out on the track, but it's an improvement at the final hurdle for Fatal. Here is Ricciardo. He will be the final car across the line. He will have a bit of a distant tow from the car in front, to coin a phrase by David Coulthard. Upsas is going to be the final car, actually. He's slightly further down the track. But here comes Ricciardo. He is on the lap, and we expect him to improve, or at least he hopes he'll improve. Late on the brakes. Spots his apex for the first of... Well, 2 apexes. The second apex is slightly wide of the curb, as you see. Just taps the curb on the outside. Upsas has bailed in his lap, so we'll have to wait and see who will be across the line last. But here comes Rick. Let's see if he can improve from P8. He does not. He'll be starting on row 4 at the best, gents.
Yeah, he wasn't able to get any better over Twin Cam. He did get a better time from what I saw. Yeah, we have Yerloco here. One last shot at optimum qualifying position, but no change.
No improvement from the Argentinian, and that is all she wrote for qualifying. And let's get a quick rundown of those results before we go into the race session in about 10 minutes time. So here they are, qualifying on pole position. Once again, it's Mantas for Born to Race. A 2-minute 2.90 puts him ahead of Unite by 0.14 of a second. Pretty good effort. That's a big gap when you consider the spread of times in these top times here. Fragmasters Fatal qualifies in P3, and alongside him on the second row is Joni Katila in P4. Then we've got the Born to Race duo of Loco and Upsas on row 3. Twin Cam and Rick Cardle share row 4, and Pablo and World Class Lions Pekka Koivunen share row 5. In the second half of the result screen here, we've got Born to Race 136 miles per hour. We've got Augustin for Furtive Junior, Iron Donny a little further down than I'd have expected in a GTI, Magic in P14, Jari Katila, Timu Soini, Mugrelo, Yeroloko Kig, and Thamuli, Miika's teammate there, in P20. I reckon Thamuli might be a bit upset with that. Miika, he's normally a bit higher up in quali.
Yeah, he was struggling with his pace, what I heard, but he wasn't too unhappy with that. I hope so.
Well, I hope
Maybe
so too.
He'll do better in the race.
Yeah, he can do a lot from there in the race. Rony, he is off of the first page of results. Definitely not normal for him. 2 minutes 4 seconds 0.59. 21st only for him. Then we've got Gonza, Asker, and Temperato rounding out the 24 drivers who have qualified. And we expect to get around 24 starters then for this race. Gents, I guess that's all she wrote for qualifying. So we're going to go for a quick break, and we'll be back for the start of 37 laps around Westhill National in the XF GTI in around 7 minutes' time. Don't go anywhere. Hello and welcome back to Rony's Tuesday Fun Race Extra Large. We are about to take the grid for the start of the 37 lap race here this afternoon. Miika, Eoin, take us away for the start.
We
Go
have
ahead,
the
Eoin.
we have the red
Baited you.
lights. It's
We
a
are
test,
green.
but we are green now. And Unite, poor getaway, I'm afraid. That leaves him exposed to fatal. But Mantas will be clear to take turn one as he pleases. There we go, side-by-side battle for P2. Maybe Yanni Catilla's left, fourth place, a little bit vulnerable now. So he can stay on the high line. Twin Cam drifting a little bit too close to comfort there, leaving the outside for Pablo to slot into. But a clean start so far. Can they keep it going for the first sector? Yeah, that's okay to me. A good mid-pack battle. I can see Magic is having a look at Augustin into the downhill left. Not as severe as the corners coming up, that's for sure. Yeah, he's got the move done, and the Air Loco is spotting a move there, and he actually gains on Magic.
Well,
Very nice
he forced his move down the inside there. That was very, very aggressive. And more action right at the back. Three wide action. Couple of world-class Lions cars going rather sideways, and Thamuli straight through the middle. Is it? Oh, it's Gonza, sorry, for AR there.
A lot of action behind us. Many cars going side to side.
Yeah, meanwhile at the front, Yanni Catilla goes wide, and that allows the door to open for Unite, potentially down the home straight, with Rick Cardle lurking in the background too. He wants to pick up the pieces potentially. Is he going to force a three-wide situation? Yes, he is. Beautiful. On that one, we have a three-wide for the final place on the podium. Rick Cardle is in a good position here. Oh, goodness me. Moves going on everywhere. We've got Mantas under pressure from Fatal at the front as well. A move made into the final corner, and Fatal has made that move, Eoin.
Yeah, the lead changes at the last corner, but it's the first lap, so no time for gloating or anything from Fatal or anyone else. But the Sidus Monkey wants revenge here. The teammates are slipstreaming as best they can, but Unite is certainly the leverage here. He's got to back out. He's in the worst possible spot, and even Upsas notices, has a look on the outside, heading up to turn 2. Yeah, so Unite, very uncomfortable position. You don't want to be in the middle of two faster cars. It means that if anyone gets hit, it will be you, most likely. We do have an early mandatory pit stop, of course, in RT4XL, and the real maker, Rony, has got the ball rolling there.
Yeah, so Mantas losing that first place on the opening lap, but it's not over, of course. Very long race, but the early pace in the race from Fatal is evident. In P3, it's Rick Cardle, but further back here, you can see just off screen is a big squabble between Upsas, Unite, and Loco.
Yeah, I can see Upsas is defending the outside line, heading into the tricky hairpin left there. That's turn 8, I believe. And Unite now have the inside. Upsas has that awkward middle spot before Loco decided to follow the racing line and give Upsas the space to sweep around the outside. And now Pekka Koivunen could make this a four-way duel into the final Parabolica. And Loco is trying to get the teammate support here. He's got one behind, one in front. Twin cam for 5. Yeah, he's going for 4 gains here, Pete and Miika. This is absolutely extraordinary if he pulls this off.
They are
Yeah,
three
Twin
wide
Cam on
into
the
the corner.
inside.
They get the exit from the corner is so important here. They have a long straight coming out, and we have a bit of a train of cars going on there. It's like everyone's race at the moment.
Fantastic
They're still
stuff.
3 wide on the straight.
A few more cars backing into the pit lane further back. I think Magic was one of them, but yeah, we're looking back from Upsas's car on this 3-way fight. Pekka Koivunen currently leading that squabble, and he takes the lead into turn 1.
My word, it's just 136 out of the race. Thought he was in the pit lane, but for whatever reason had to.
While we were focusing on all of that madness, Owen, Mantas retook the lead ahead of Fatal. So those two electing to squabble amongst themselves while the rest of the pack duel it out. But yeah, Yoni Katila in P3 as well, and really, really close with Rick Cardle. But some great action further back. I'm not really that upset we missed the lead change again, Owen.
Well, I'd say we'll have more lead changes to think about the further this race goes. I think that's a bit high there from Fatal. He's going to lose some time to Mantas. Yeah, as evidenced there by the split times, Mantas 1:12.0 compared to 1:12.7 for Fatal in through the sector 2, and that could give Mantas a little bit of breathing room he would like. But with the slipstream effect, it may just gradually help Fatal along. But we'll check out a side-by-side duel. Unite, Koivunen, and yet again Twin Cam. But he's on the wrong side to cause a surprise to these highly experienced drivers. He has to look in his own mirrors for Iron Donny, Loco, and Yerloco.
Yeah, we're riding on board then with Donny. Donny looks like he's going to be in a good position to get a run on Twin Cam. You can tell it's Twin Cam because of the bright green rims on his XFG. Pulls to the outside, does Donny. Twin Cam's he's going to remind him he's there. Still on the inside. So this could go all the way to turn 1. And it does. Donny around the outside of Twin Cam. So Twin Cam, even though he's putting his car in the right place all of the time, Owen, just didn't work out again. Mind you, he's coming back at him. Donny was wide, and Twin Cam takes that place straight back as I was saying that. So good effort.
Maybe he's gone too high this time though, folks. But he's able to cut the middle of the track off before turn 3 will kind of neutralize the pace before the hard braking zone of turn 4.
Yerloco with a big send on Donny.
Inside.
Yeah, well spotted.
That's
Miika.
A nice move from him.
Yeah, opportunistic, I'd say. Spotted the gap was going to open up, went for the big send, nothing to lose, and he paid off into P9?
Yeah, he kept it clean, so it was a very good move. That could have gone wrong.
Meanwhile, at the front, Mantas has settled into a little bit of a rhythm now and has opened up a 9/10 of a second gap, 9/10 of a second gap over Fatal. Yoni Katila is, I'd say, closing, kind of, or holding station behind those two now that he's dispatched a little bit of Rick Cardle. Rick Cardle is half a second behind now. And then there's a big gap to Upsas, who was battling with Koivunen and Unite and Twin Cam only a couple of laps ago. So he's kind of in the middle ground at the moment. He could be the driver who can break free from the gaggle behind and close up to the front runners. Let's see. Anything's possible in GTI racing in LFS.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. I think the rhythm has settled down a bit. The drivers who have taken pit stops will be out on their own for the moment. It's just that giant pack of cars. Certainly from 8th downwards, there's someone for everyone pretty much down the line there. We'll just see how things develop. Koivunen, solid start for him, and there's more to be done, I'm sure. Good variety of teams occupying the top 7 places so far. Just world-class Lions at Sidus and Born to Race there. They have 2 each, so that's not too bad.
Alongside with Pekka Koivunen, that's pretty strong start for Ricardo. He started from 8th position, and he's now in the 4th position and still keeping up with Yoni Katila before him. So that's pretty well done for the first few laps.
Yeah, that's a good point. Ricardo definitely didn't qualify where we expected him to, but you're right. In the race, he's managed to dispatch with 4 other cars. That's Upsas, Unite, Koivunen, and Twin Cam at the moment to position himself just off the podium. But he's got some work to do. Half a second to Yoni, and Eoin won't give up in a hurry, so maybe a mistake further forward is what Ricciardo's going to hope for. But he's still there, and he needs to get Eoin Kittila to drag him with him up to the front. But Fatal and Mantas are looking pretty strong at the moment, so not sure how realistic that's going to be. Meanwhile, Yaroloko's still hassling the back of Twincam's car. Twincam a bit wide, Yaroloko also a bit wide. And looking to make pace on the top 10. It does look like Pablo has managed to find his way past Donny. Yes, he has, but does Donny have a response into the final corner? Donny's looking. It was looking like he was going to go around the outside. I reckon Pablo might have been slightly covering the inside to lure off an attack from Donny, but there's always the first corner to have another attack as well.
Yeah, there's a bit more action in the background of this shot. We've got Augustin through against Jari Kittila, but Jari has the opportunity. You can just see the side-by-side in the background. It's the opportunity for payback here for Jari Kittila on the inside line of turn 1. And he can hold on to the next inside line. We'll see if Augustin in a Boca Juniors branded car. There you go. He's got the outside. He can hang on using that the curvature of the corner to really put the power down. A lovely bit of battling here between these two.
Yeah, absolutely. Donny got the place back into turn 1 against Pablo, so that duel is going to go on and on and on and on. But yeah, Augustin cementing his mark there on the very experienced Jari Kittila, has to be said. Jari pushed down to P12 then, and let's see if Augustin can go forwards rather than be held in the middle of the pack. He's currently dead middle in this race, P11 out of 21 currently running. And look at this, Owen and Miika. The front guys have definitely spread out. They've spread into a very even rhythm now.
Yeah, seems like Fatal's had maybe a little trouble at the start keeping up, but it's stabilized now more. And I don't know, maybe they're pulling away from the others a bit. I haven't really kept time on that too much. But yeah, it's a solid, like, what, top 4 here, having their own races at the moment.
Yeah, it looks like everyone down to what is that, like P6 is having their own race. Twincam certainly not. He's got Yaroloko for company, and he's going in the pits early. Interesting tactic that. What do we think?
We've had kind of a lot of these like early pits here, like Rony in the very first lap and a couple of cars already. So it's interesting. Maybe it's kind of the actual tactic to win this race. Who knows?
Well, the difference is Rony was right at the back at the beginning. Twincam is going to come out in clean air, I think. So
the pack's
maybe
gonna catch, I think.
Ooh, it's going to be close. He doesn't want to be caught by Loco, and he's going to be, isn't he? I mean, or is he? Oh, he might have played this perfectly, because I think he must think he's got the pace over this pack behind. And if that was his plan, then it was pretty well timed. But he has to stay ahead now. He has to stay ahead of Loco. These guys at the back have already been down the pit lane. You've got Pekka Koivunen in there as well, someone else who was battling for very high positions, currently behind Loco. So this is really going to turn out to be like the second head of the race. It depends which group loses the least time as to who is going to end up being closer to the front. But at the moment, it looks like Twincam has managed to get out in the lead comfortably, but he needs to not be distracted by Loco and Pekka Koivunen behind, who have already proven in this race that they've got the pace. So very interesting, pitting on lap 6 of 37.
Yeah, the drivers who pitted early must assume the pack racing is just going to deduct lap time from those drivers who are just constantly side by side or drafting with close rivals, and that they have reasonably clear track in front of them as long as they don't hold each other up. That must be the game plan, to leap past them as the race goes on. see a battle for 7th, and P7th is underway. Yerloco versus Iron Dunny. Nothing to separate them, or as actually Yerloco lifts off just a tad, and that's P7 now for Dunny.
I wonder if this battle with this pack, if they're gonna battle too much each other, if they're actually gonna slow each other down rather than just keeping up the good pace. Like driving in the pack, as that could be beneficial, but it can go horribly wrong as well.
Yeah, I can certainly see the narrow window of benefit of being in the pack, but certainly the distraction can prove counter beneficial as well. So we'll see which strategy will pay off as the race develops.
A development at the front. Yoni is definitely closing on Fatal, but we've got some scrapping going on. We've got Kig and Thamuli. Kig in the white car there, Thamuli in the ZFRL liveried car, and contact ahead, I think, between, was that Yari and Augustin? Yes, it was. Side-by-side action again here between Thamuli and Kig. Kig being forced very wide. This is great to see in the middle of the pack. Proof that there's racing going on anywhere you are in an RTFR race.
Yeah, unfortunately for Kig, he's lost a lot of momentum, but the Hivmuli is gaining on Yari using that slipstream. He's certainly too far away heading into the Parabolica to do anything about the 11th placed driver. He's going to go as high as he can before cutting inside, before another attack. Oh, a pitter. That is Augustin taking his way to the pits, and in front of him, Donny has also pitted. So yeah, other drivers are taking notes of an early pit stop. Donny's completed his in 10.4 seconds with a refuel only. So now we can use Twin Cam, Loco, and Koivunen as a guide to see where Iron Dunny will re-emerge. Oh, he's going to be behind the Born to Race cars at the very least. Yeah, 1 and 2. But corner number 1 may... Oh, he's going to be lenient here to Koivunen. So there you go. Dunny is 18th on track at the moment.
So we have a good part here going on for the second place with Fail and Unicatilla, and they're really close to each other.
Yeah, if Yanni smells an opportunity, he'll take it, but Sector 2, very difficult to negotiate the best of times.
Goes wide.
Yeah,
there might be a chance to go in the last corner, or take a good exit from there.
Absolutely, Miika. It's so much handier to get that first slipstream, and if you know how to take the last corner with a bit of aggression, you can also put your opponent off when it comes to the start-finish straight. No such monkey business, sorry for the pun there, from a Yanni Catilla, but Fatal can see that chance to gain that little extra
yeah, that's
boost.
a good slipstream he got.
Yeah, he has that slipstream. He's gone for a bump draft. So we can see Fatal doesn't want to go neck and neck with Yanni. He wants to bump draft him in the hope of catching Mantas. So that's very interesting. We'll see if the two can cooperate and make this a three-way battle for the lead.
Yeah, that's kind of wise decision here, not to battle too much.
Yeah, it's still very early. There's no need to risk taking each other off the track and handing crucial positions to other rivals in the championship. We've side-by-side Kig and the Hivmuli out of turn 2. That's a tricky corner with the banking. Certainly will put drivers to the test with the front wheels screaming in agony. And as a matter of fact, the Himuli is through. Kig makes a bit of a meal out of his entry into turn 3. So Miika's teammate has got the job done for the moment.
He seems to be good climbing up those places. He's already in 10th place, starting from 20th. So, of course, there's a couple of guys that's pitted already, but still a couple of overtakes. That's pretty nice of him.
So we've got several examples of drivers who underwhelmed. I'm sure they'll agree with me in qualifying, but are doing much better in the racing conditions. We'll just see what the pit stops do now. As we know, the pack from Loco downwards have made a pit stop, and then it's a case of the other drivers having to go longer to suit their strategy calls. But the lead pack uninterrupted so far. Very, very little to decide between them all. But Fatal disappointed to have lost some time compared to Eoin in the last lap. It was a 10th, but it really, 3/10 of a second there. And that really goes to show the difference lap on lap when you really see the numbers in action.
Yeah, you can also tell that there is a slight gap between them, but he's still like keeping up. They can still chase the leading car as they go on. Leading car being Mantas, who has been doing a very good job so far.
Yeah, he's been doing a great job just minding his own business. He was under a bit of threat early on from Fatal, but Fatal has dropped off, and Eoin Katila has snuck on by. So we'll have to keep an eye on that 2.2 second gap to the front, which is currently being held by Mantas. But yeah, Eoin Katila is as fired up as ever, so I assume we're going to see something develop pretty soon. Here's Rick Cardle. He's not out of this yet either. P4 for him at the moment, then P5 for Upsas with Unite using the wrong livery again. And Zdravko pointed it out during GTI Thursday. Unite's results don't go his way ever when he doesn't have the correct team livery on. But he's just continuing this trend. He's against the grain at the moment, gents.
Maybe he just wants to prove everyone wrong that he's not the livery. But we don't.
Well, let's see.
That.
He has to win today in order to prove that point.
Yeah. So another famous 4-letter championship. That's what he's thinking of, not RTFR, but Toka. So yeah, that's a thumbs up for me. Or BTCC, I suppose you could say. It depends if you're a fan of BTCC in person or if you played Toka 2 on the PS1.
Pablo to pit lane. Here he is for Furtive Racing. He decides to pit on lap number 11. That'll be the lap he was on when he pulled into the pits. And there he goes, away. Was it a legal pit stop? Yes, it was. Remember, all drivers have to make a 10-second minimum mandatory pit stop during the race. That can be spread over one or more pit stops, but why would you really do it over more than one? Unless you need fuel and tyres, of course. And Pablo's going to join way down in this gaggle with Loco and Twincam, mentioning, of course, that Loco managed to get back past Twincam after their pit stops. So, yeah, it didn't work out just now for Twincam, but Loco in qualifying, he did have the pace over his teammates. So maybe that isn't as much of a surprise as we should, as I'm making it out to be. Meanwhile, at the front, Unite and Upsas, still the closest pair of the front runners, I think it's fair to say.
Yeah, that's accurate to me. Yeah, perhaps. I think, yeah, maybe Fatal could have a say against Eoin Katila again, but yeah, that's not quite close enough. So we're on board now with Sidus Unite. He doesn't need to worry about what's in the rear view mirror, that's for sure. He has a healthy lead over Yerloco. So it's all about what's in front of him. You can see his teammate just in the distance there, and of course his nearest challenger, Upsas.
Yeah, Upsas is a formidable force in the GTIs. It doesn't matter what car, actually. Upsas recently has been pretty rapid, but P5, he will not be happy with that, and Unite will know that. So the fact that Unite is able to keep up with Upsas is probably okay. I reckon Unite's pretty happy to sit in the time marks of Upsas for now. But he doesn't want him to go anywhere, and that's not going to help as Unite completely botches T1, drops a wheel on the inside grass, he loses traction, forces him wide. Here we have Koivunen and Twin Cam side by side, and that's a battle for P14. And it looks like Pekka Koivunen is going to sneak through as well. So Loco got through earlier, and now Koivunen is going to get through as well. And who's that coming out in front? It is Yerloco is going to get mugged by these two, is he? Yes, so Yerloco was losing time at the front, and that is what happens when you pit earlier. Sometimes you can get out ahead.
Yeah, Yerloco's post pit stop worries will continue here if Iron Donny will have his way. He's just going to bump him, I think, before the turn 3 descent, and Pablo has now noticed that Donny is occupied, but he can't quite sweep along that inside downhill left before the heavy braking zone. Maybe this is his chance.
Yeah, we've now got two very distinct races going on, and it doesn't normally happen until at least the halfway stage. I'm very confused as to why so many people are pitting out of sequence, like randomly throughout this race. Normally we get it either right at the end or we get it somewhere near the middle. We don't get it throughout the race as much as this, or certainly not as pronounced. And yeah, so we're going to have to completely focus on two separate races here. Donny, who is a driver who's normally right at the front, pitted early, and now is battling at the back of our second pack that we've got here. That's Magic leading up the rear. Only two cars behind that, and that's Agustin and Rony some way down the road, 10 seconds plus down the road. So this really is it. As Yerloco gets... Sorry, that's not Yerloco. That is Pablo going wide. That's going to allow Iron Donny to sneak through easily.
Yeah, he just gets the clear space now. Pablo, though, will now go for the attack. No, he hangs back just a moment here, everyone. Can he now avoid Magic's threat and get on the slipstream power? Yeah, he's using as much of the outside line as he can. Yeah, each driver has a different choice of what to do, but Magic can watch from his point of view. Yeah, it's all happening just in the background of Koivunen there. Teemu Soini will be behind everyone now, yeah. Thanks to that pit stop. He was at the rear of the queue of the non-pitters, so he will have Rony for company, or maybe even no one for company. Depends how quickly Rony can get down the start-finish straight.
Yeah, Pekka Koivunen's made quick work of Twin Cam. His dispatch with Twin Cam has already opened up almost a second of a gap, and has, in fact, it's more than a second, and has disappeared off down the road. Meanwhile, Donny is still being hounded by Pablo, someone who he potentially didn't expect to be battling after pitting quite early in the race. Now, why have people been pitting early in the race, you ask? Well, a multitude of factors. One, they could be unhappy with the pace that they're losing at the front and decide to bail out and hope they don't come out in traffic, which is the exact opposite of what's happened here with Pablo, Donny and Magic. Of course, these three are fighting right at the back, losing each other time, which is a disaster. Or they could have forced themselves into a strategy by not putting enough fuel in at the start of the race, being quick at the start, getting a good start, overtaking a few cars, pitting early in the hope that they boost themselves up the order, which well, it just hasn't worked out for these guys. This is the worst situation. You don't want to rejoin after your pit stop in a direct fight with someone who is as faster, if not faster than you, because as you can see, they're losing buckets of time to Yerloco, who is just being allowed to drive away.
Yeah, that's relief for Yerloco, having seen other drivers just breeze past him as he needs to merge back onto the track if he knows the other drivers are knocking a few tenths out of each other. It just gives him the chance to settle down and get his strategy working. We have a big mistake for Donny. We have a car taking to the pit lane. It's Kig. Kig will be also relegated to the back of the line. He should be clear. So Donny takes the pit lane as well. So that's a really disappointing lap, has to be said. Oh no, it might be DNF territory. Yeah, Donny parks by the podium and the famous bin, probably named in Unite's honour, if my memory serves me well. Yeah, that's game over for Donny.
Yeah, I wasn't doing really well, and I got that big mistake and lost so big chunk of time. So I can really understand why he decided to leave the race and not go to the very end. And that's a frustrating place to drive in, and it's not fun when you're frustrated.
Yeah, I can certainly take that on board, Miika. Yeah, you don't want to be losing your cool or your temper during RTF4. It's meant to be more on the relaxed side of things. The prestige is certainly there, and the prize money is on offer, I'm sure. But when you're just not having a good day, something goes wrong, there's no point forcing the issue. But he just continues to sit there. I suppose he hasn't opted to spectate just yet. But we'll now resume the lead battle. Mantas has a lead of 2.8 seconds over
3.2 seconds now.
2.2, excuse me.
It went up massively on that last lap, and that's why I think that's why we're with the Fatal and Yoni battle, because Yoni's made an error. Fatal is so much closer than he was at the beginning of this next lap. So yeah, Fatal he's got an opportunity here. Oh, he touches the grass, that gets the rear out of line, and it's these tiny mistakes that the drivers will absolutely kick themselves over, because Yoni made an error. Oh, he's made another error. It's gone very wide. That spooked Fatal even, I think, there a little bit. But yeah, these guys, they know the pressure. They know the pressure and the stakes of being on the podium and winning one of these races. It hurts their ego if they don't get on the podium, that's for sure. And these guys, well, they love a good result. But yeah, as I was saying, a tiny error from Yoni gave Fatal a flicker of hope, and Fatal proceeded to make an error, and now the gap's gone up again. So yeah, it's ebbing and flowing at the front. But these guys need to focus. Unite went into the pit lane and it's just gone through sector 1 and has come out quite a way ahead. I mean, substantially ahead of the pack behind. We'll get an accurate reflection of the gap at the sector time. You just saw Loco there flashing through the back of Shot. I think it's 4 and a bit seconds, maybe 5 seconds. Let's see what we get at the timing line. The gap between Unite and Loco. In fact, I think it's slightly smaller than that, maybe 3 seconds. But still, Unite emerges in the lead of that second pack. He has a healthy gap ahead of him. And again, a front runner pitting early. It's unusual. It is unusual in Excel. 4.5 seconds the gap, Owen.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the drivers may have noticed. It's gone under my radar. It's not even halfway. We'll be hitting that mark soon, but at lap 17 times 2 is 34. So certainly more work to be done no matter what stage of your strategy you're at. So we'll see exactly what the thinking is when the last driver in the mid pack makes a pit stop. But at the moment, the top 4 should be very, very comfortable, possibly top 5 as well.
Fatal got another really good second corner as the Muli also pits out of P9. He's going to drop down the order. There he goes. So you can see him flickering down the timing tower on your left. But yeah, Fatal is very much stronger through the first couple of corners than Yoni. Closes up quite a lot here. Look at this. Really, really gaining through the first half of sector 2. And as we head towards the next hairpin, Yoni able to open up that gap once again. Let's see how good Fatal is on the brakes and whether he can open up an opportunity for himself down one of the 2 straights towards the end of this lap. Nice tight apex for Fatal, doesn't run wide, touches the grass maybe slightly with the outside of his tyres, but Yoni is not looking as comfortable as you'd expect at the end of this lap. Fatal runs really wide though, and that's going to hurt him down the home straight. So that's game over.
Yeah, turn 9 is one of the most tricky on all of Westhill National. It's the fact that you're braking, you're going downhill, and you have to turn sharply to the right to avoid the grass and the barrier waiting for you. It really means these cars are forced to go to their extremes, and with the tires, they're going to be getting a little bit worn towards the end. So if the drivers are struggling now, and Twin Cam has a disconnection.
Yeah, he left the race.
Yeah,
he spectated out of the race before. Another victim of the kind of second pack that had developed here. Donny has since rejoined the race, but obviously a long way down at the back. Twin Cam has aborted his run. He's left the server, and that's that. Another one bites the dust. Unite is our net leader. Of course, we do expect to see the likes of Mantas, Yoni, Fatal, Rick come out ahead, and potentially also Upsas. It depends how good Unite's second stint, how good the beginning of Unite's second stint is. Currently, it's going very, very well. He's leading Loco by, what's it going to be across the line? Yeah, the gap goes up slightly more. So Unite is pulling a gap over the cars behind. What Unite doesn't want to do is catch up to the back of Asker particularly quickly. Asker has yet to pit, I believe. I think he is, in fact, one of the last cars left to pit. He is P7. Everyone above him has not pitted either. So Unite doesn't want to catch Asker. That will slow him down. So that's the gap we've got to focus on now, really, folks. As Asker goes extremely wide, that won't help Unite by the time he catches him.
Yeah, Unite might hope that if he catches up too fast, he'll just fly past and get the easy overtake, rather than spending the time stuck behind.
Yeah, I definitely think that, the format of RTFR XL never changes. It's always the same. It's always the 10-second mandatory pit stop at some point. But again, I'll reiterate, I don't think we've had a race where the two parts of it have been so pronounced or so varied. We've had drivers pitting left, right, and centre. We've only just gone over halfway. In fact, are we even over halfway yet? No, we're not. I spoke too soon there. We do expect to see a few more cars pitting around halfway, potentially Asker and Yari Katilla, but I expect Mantas, Yoni, and Fatal, potentially even Rick Cardle and Upsas to go pretty much to the end. It's very unusual to see such a spread of pitting.
Mantas has put in a new fastest lap at 2 minute 3.2. That just gives him that little extra edge over Yoni Katilla, 3.4 second lead.
Bincam has joined the chat, so he's out of the race, but he's joined the chat and said he's struggling with rear tyre temperatures. So I imagine that's an issue that's going to befall quite a few drivers here. The XFG, weirdly, a lot of the drivers choose to run a softer compound on the rear to give it a little bit more grip and to steady the rear slightly. So in fact, Chris has just had a look, and everybody on the grid is using hybrids on the rear, hybrid tyres, so tyres that are more suited to rallycross, as Donny disconnects as well. So a DNF for Donny, that's not good for his championship at all. He was parked in the pit lane, that is, we've got to remember that, but there we are. So everybody using hybrids on the rear. As we switch to this battle we were talking about before, Miika, it's happened. Unite doesn't want to get caught up here.
Yeah, and he seems like he's getting past.
Or not. There we go.
Oh,
he's
that's
had
the
a
worst
good
case
run,
scenario.
but I think they touched a little bit there. Will he just send it inside, or will he take it easy and find a better place to go? No, he'll just go on through the inside.
Yeah, but will Asker
losing
try and
a little
fight
bit
back?
of time here.
Oh, yeah, he's going to lose a lot of time. Asker is
doing
not giving
best
up.
as he can, and
my.
it's gone wide. That's not good for him.
Asker, obviously, he's going to race anyone that he comes up against.
Of course.
He doesn't know necessarily that Unite's already pitted, but Unite does, and Unite really wants to get through.
Not still so close he can make a move on the last or the first corner. Depends what he prefers. He might as well just get a slipstream from here. Go ahead on the home straight, should I say. And it's very close. Should be going past before the first corner even.
You better hope so. This took a long time. Oscar is still there and could potentially go for a send. No, tucks in behind. Unite will not be happy. The gap between him and Loco definitely came down that lap. In fact, yeah, by quite a margin while these two were fighting. Look, you can see how much closer Loco is there in the background. Yeah, Unite lost a ton of time there.
But Tarsko knows that there's a quicker driver and now before him, so he'll just try and follow him and try to keep up as much as he can, because that way he can pick up his own pace a little.
Yeah, the carrot and the stick is a metaphor that drivers often find useful. Sometimes they don't. It is very, very hard to just have someone overtake and then think, oh, yeah, I'm just going to be able to go as quick as them. It doesn't quite work like that, but sometimes it's good motivation. It's someone to fight, and it forces you to think a little bit harder, dig a little bit deeper, and sometimes people can find time. And yeah, you're right. Oscar will probably try to do that. But let's see if he causes Unite any more headaches. Don't think it's going to be possible. Mind you, that was quite deep from Unite, it has to be said.
I don't think Arasko will want to fight too much, because it's very unlikely that he'll actually get past. But you know, when you're racing, you don't really think through that much. You just feel like, oh, there's a gap. I'm trying to go there.
Joni Katila had the fastest lap taken away from Mantas briefly, but now Mantas has taken it back again. So the fastest lap of the race is being thrown around between Joni and Mantas, and that's because fuel is coming out of the car and the tyres are still in a healthy window, so they're able to push the envelope of the fastest lap times. And I expect to see those times come down a little bit more towards the end of the race before these guys pit, because they might put some fuel in. Probably not, but they might do something.
We were earlier talking about people using hybrid tires in the rear, and I hear it's quite common with this car, because the car, it wants to oversteer a bit, so when you have like tires with more grip on the rear, you'll actually lose more time because it's not as slippery on the rear end. So hybrid is good because it makes it a little bit slippery. You can go a little bit oversteery and you can find a little bit of more time through that, because it's not catching up with the traction so much.
If I may butt in for a second, Miika, Loco, Pablo and Magic are having a feisty battle for position here. Loco went very wide into turn 1. He was able to catch it before it was too late into turn 2. You can see with the windy sector 2 is going to really determine what will happen here. Lots of technical corners for the front wheel drive XFG to compete with, but now there's a slight rundown before another hard braking zone into turn 8, so this could be Pablo's chance to prepare a move. Magic will be watching. He'll be the latest of the late breakers there. So we'll see if anything happens here. Pablo is going to try and block, I'm sure, the racing line, because it's so hard to stay on the inside or else you hit those sausage curbs. You don't want that whatsoever. So yeah, it looks like they're going to stay in position for the moment. But yeah, they had a great battle to start the lap, and they might just regroup to begin all over again, I'm sure.
Yeah, nice to see fights up and down the field. It's not something we often get, especially with these smaller grid sizes in some of these races. But yeah, these three having good time. It's not the fastest way around, but it's definitely the most entertaining way around for the drivers and for us, of course. These guys realistically out of contention for a good result here. So yeah, you might as well get stuck in fighting whoever you're near. Someone who will care about who he comes out next to when he pits eventually is Mantas, who clings on to that fastest lap. And we're going to get a sector time update as he drops down to the next hairpin. Let's see what the sector time changes to when He goes over the timing line now. Looks like the gap to Ioni Katila is holding fast, around 3.4 seconds to him. So, yeah, very, very nice pace. In fact, it's gone down slightly by a tenth. So, yeah, changing ever so slightly, but yeah, a really, really healthy margin over the world-class Lions driver. Fatal there, P3. Rick Cardle in P4. Upsas just behind in P5. Gary Katila is still in P6, although I believe he is yet to pit. Yes, he has yet to pit. Then we've got Unite, who got past Asker a few laps ago, but is also being caught by Loco. So, yeah, Asker hasn't pitted. Loco has pitted, and Loco has to deal with the same issue that Unite did a few laps ago. Miika, take it away.
Yeah, he's catching up here with Arska, and we'll see if he can make the pass quicker than United. I hear Ricardo is in the pit lane. See how his stop goes and where he's gonna settle down after the stop.
Yeah, he's blinked. We'll pan to a wide camera and see if anyone comes down the road behind him. They have to stop for 10 seconds, remember, and that will be coming to an end now. And Rick Cardle will be out in clean air.
Should be all good.
Yeah, Jari Katila will be nowhere near. And neither, more importantly, will Unite. Look how far Unite is away. Unite's lost a lot of time.
I don't know if it's for his pit stop and a tactic, or if it's just, the race between him and Araska and maybe little mistakes here and there.
I think it's also fair to say... Yeah.
I think
it's fair to say that Loco got through on Asker much more easily than Unite did.
Yeah, he sure did. He's already passed and didn't waste like half a lap fighting over the position. And Arska again having this like carrot and stick moment. He's now staying behind Loco there, just trying to keep up, try his own race. Maybe being a little hungry for the overtake places, but I don't see why he would be going for the overtakes.
Upsas has taken a slice of glory. He's taken the fastest lap. Whether it's going to be stolen away from him by one of the other drivers remains to be seen. It's probably likely to happen. But something else that has caught my attention, Owen, 0.3 of a second lost this lap to Ioni Katila. That's what's happened to Mantas. So is he starting to struggle with those tyres? Let's see what the gap is as Ioni comes over the line. You can get that update in the top left. And again, it comes down below 3 seconds. So even though the tyres do actually look okay with these front runners, Ioni has flicked to switch somewhere. He's starting to close in, and there are enough laps left for that position, for that battle to come to fruition and something to change at the front.
Yeah, that's very true, Pete. I don't think lap traffic will come into play at all, really. Rony is 18th and last of the remaining runners so far, but the gap is so big. I think they'll only even catch up to him towards the very end, if at all. But of course, pit stops are to be factored in as well for the leaders. So it's really just a case of Ioni probably putting on his A game as if he hasn't been already. So we'll see if Mantas will notice and try to reply to a potentially surging Ioni Katila.
Absolutely. Thanks as ever for joining us on Sim Broadcasts. You're watching Rony's Tuesday Fun Race Extra Large, round number 8 of the 2022 season in Live for Speed. If you're enjoying this coverage, then please give our channel a follow or a like, or wherever you're watching it, on Twitch or YouTube. We really appreciate the support, so thank you very much. And of course, if you fancy getting involved in this action, the racing action for RTFR and RTFR XL does tend to be a little bit quieter over summer, and that gives you a better opportunity, maybe, than normal to get in on the action in the next race. And the next race, the regular edition of RTFR, which is a slightly it's a sprint format, is happening next Tuesday with a mod. So go and check that out on our calendar and on the LFS website. But yes, back to tonight's action. We have currently 18 cars remaining in a field which was slightly bigger than that when we started. but for whatever reason, some cars have dropped out through strategy errors on the
Fatal
road.
pits.
As Fatal comes in, yes, good spot. He comes in from P3, Owen.
Yeah, this will be really telling to see where our mid-pack will be, how they're really doing. Oh, was that a little bit of a slip in the pits? He's just trying to get going as quickly as possible, but yeah, he's kept the 10-second mandatory limit in the pit lane, so it's really just Rick Cardle who has a chance of catching him. This will be important. Yeah, now Fatal accelerates away, so yeah, good job here for Fatal. Stays comfortably ahead of Rick, and he holds position. For the moment, Upsas is the one who could possibly overtake him with an overcut, but I can't see that happening for the moment.
Chris will let us know if any work happened in that stop. He normally does, to let us know if there's any work gone on in that car. Just fuel. So Fatal will be slightly slower than he was before because he'll have more weight in that car than he did before he pitted. But is it going to be enough to affect his chances at podium, I wonder? It's lap 25 now. If Upsas pits in 10 laps' time, then yes, maybe that tiny extra bit of fuel could be enough to cost him a podium position. It really is that fine margins when you pit this early. This is early for some of these front runners. They really have changed the game here a bit.
Indeed, yeah. We'll now move over briefly to see another tussle between Dehemuli and Kig. There's 14th position up for grabs here. Another counter-attack from Kig. It's not enough to unsettle Dehemuli. But yeah, it's just the early pit stops compared to most RT4XL competition has made this an unusual but nevertheless really intriguing event. But I can't see. Mantas has made the move to the pits, giving Yanni Catilla the lead for the moment. And good thing now because he put in the fastest lap at 2 minute 3.1. And that was a refuel for Mantas. So we'll see
some of
now.
the drivers are using the refueling to time their pit stops. Owen, sorry, back to you.
No problem. So yeah, this is where Yanni really will want to put on a show and get as many of these fastest laps or thereabouts as he can, because he now has the clear track in front of him. So
Jari Catilla is coming
pitting.
to pit lane. There he is. And let's see where he comes out. He waited quite a long time before he came into the pits. He is going to drop down to the probably here, probably roughly P30. Is he going to? Yeah, he's going to rejoin in the position that he's currently in. He won't drop down any further than that. And the guys behind not likely to catch in the dying moments. So yeah, P13 is where Jari Catilla will rejoin. But yeah, you're right, Owen. Yanni Catilla needs to use this momentum now to hammer in the best laps in the race that he can to try and get that gap as low as possible after he makes his stop. When will he blink? When will he come in? Currently has a 6-second gap behind to Upsas, which is plenty of time to securely keep P2 if he wants it. But how good will his pit stop be? Can't afford any slip-ups. Can't afford to miss his box. Can't afford to speed in the pit lane. We've seen that before. But yeah, it's his choice now when he comes in.
I think he's just going to power on. Yeah, he's happy to keep going. It could be till lap 32, 33 when he decides to make his way into the pits, but he'll want to make sure there's no chance of Upsas or Fatal interrupting him when he comes out back onto the track. Another super lap at 2 minute 3.1, just a 10th behind that fastest benchmark he set previously. Upsas, we won't get to see exactly how he can do until Mantas, we'll see how he gets on next time, boys. His lap won't be representative. But Upsas is trying his best to keep up with a 2 minute 3.4. So yeah, he just goes to show you that little extra few tenths can make a massive difference.
Yeah, this is an onboard that will be very familiar to anyone who enjoys GTI racing in LFS. Back when the reconfigured Westhill was released, Westhill was extremely popular with GTI pickup races, which of course this is tonight. The XFG and XRG have been thrashed around the Westhill National combination lots of times. I'd be interested to find out the number of laps that's happened on. It will be in the millions, that's for sure. There's going to be a lot of laps registered with this car around this track since it was re-released, a lot of years ago now, actually. But very, very popular, and an onboard lap that we've seen many, many times, and will hopefully continue to see into the future. As Joni Katila makes a bit of a ham-fisted attempt at the corner onto the back straight. A little bit of grass on his tyres, but it won't matter too much. The gap to Upsas behind goes up even more. The important gap, of course, is that to Mantas, who is 24 seconds back now after he's pitted. We'll just wait to see when Joni Katila decides to come in at some point over the next 10 laps. 10 laps to go after this one.
Yeah, the run down to the start-finish line. It's going to feel like an eternity, as we've alluded to previously in the broadcast, but it's a 2-minute 3.29 this time. So yeah, as Pete mentioned, 10 laps to go. Upsas has called it into the pit lane. That will free up Mantas. Then it'll set up a potential duel to the finish with Fatal. We'll see how this goes. Got to get that refuel timed. Yes, 10.17, but no service actually. That's a turnout for the books compared to the most of the competition. So Fatal will be through, but Upsas certainly close.
Yeah, it's going to be close.
Yeah, Rick is through as well.
Oh, yeah, Unite's going to be a long way behind, so it's not even going to be close with Unite. So there we are then. Upsas re-emerges in P5, and he's got a lot of work to do over the next 10 laps to if he wants to improve from there. P4 looks like it's quite a long way away right now.
So Mantas seems to have kept his space comparing to Joni, so it's a really hard task for Joni if he wants to fight for the lead. Mantas seems to be securing this very well if he doesn't make any major mistakes here. So we have only Joni and Arska to pit. The other ones have done their mandatory 10 seconds pits already.
Good stuff. It was 2015, actually, that the reprofiled Westhill track was released. 2015, I can't believe it's been that long already. But yeah, that was the time when we all first started thrashing GTIs around the newly profiled Westhill 1 circuit. It has aged very well, actually, this track, I have to say. The lighting in LFS has always been pretty much spot on, and it's the lighting, I think, that makes a lot of difference when you look at the photorealism of a track. And Westhill, pretty pleasant, as we have a fight here between Agustin and Kig further back. This is for P15. Kig in the white car there, and Agustin in the Furtive Junior blue, white, and yellow livery. Currently trying to find a way past, and struggling to do so at the moment.
Yeah, Kig has the blockers on for the moment, using all of that inside curbing as he can. But Agustin is not afraid here. He's going to go side by side all the way to the final curve. The Parabolica style left-hander has that nose in front. Kig may have to brake a little earlier to get a comfortable line to counter-attack. But now he wants to put in a huge lunge. Can he hang on to it, or will Agustin cut back inside? Yeah, I think it's a little bit of both. As a matter of fact, Kig has the momentum. But Agustin, there's going to be a tank slapper there. That will certainly put the flames into the eyes of Agustin there. He won't be happy to have that, so he'll use that slipstream for as long as he can before the need to slow down for turn 1.
There's pretty much no excuse for that, is there? I mean, you could probably fit about 15 XFGs across the track side by side, and having contact a little bit unusual when it's just two cars dicing, but there we are. Kig gets to breathe a little bit.
Oh,
More
is
drama
that
here.
trouble
What's
from
happened
Loco?
here? What's happened? Yeah, that's trouble, isn't it? What on earth has happened there? I think we might need to get a look at a replay there.
5 and 6. Something must have gone badly wrong there.
There's some damage on the front left of that car, and that's a weird one because Loco had pace earlier, and he's lost some positions to Koivunen and Asker, I believe. So interesting one. That not sure what's happened, but Loco has lost a bunch of time in a bunch of places, and if he looks in his rearview mirror, he'll see his namesake Yero Loco looming in, which is something no one wants to see for one reason or another.
If I had to guess, I think Loco might have dropped a wheel on grass and lost it and just hit the wall a bit, since it's quite close on the corner, but hard to say as we missed what happened there.
Yeah, I mean, it cost him 4 or 5 seconds, which is not a small incident. Yoni's still not making any headway for the pits. He's quite contented out there. He's just driving around, lap after lap, just trying to, get both of his hands on the win of this race. The gap to Mantas has gone up by around about 1.5 seconds, and if you remember, before he pitted, the gap was about 3 seconds. We've still got 8 laps to go, including this one, so plenty of time for Yoni to make even more improvements. Locos, we believe, may have had a hardware issue. He lagged out. And appeared back on. Well, he appeared when he hit the wall. So, Locos had some sort of hardware issue. Sometimes, if LFS loses focus, you can get a temporary network hold, and that can cause all sorts of havoc. So, potentially software or hardware related for Loco, but probably not driver error. So, unlucky, but P9 currently for him. Let's see how his recovery is going. He's currently caught Asker again. Asker, fair play to him, has had quite a lot of action this race. Yeah,
he's got to fight so many times, and especially on the defending side. He's done a pretty good job, like holding the faster guys behind him for a good amount of time.
Yeah, and he still has to go down the pits as well. He still hasn't pitted that car, so plenty of action still for him until he goes down the pits. I reckon he's lost a lot of time, and he's going to come out quite a long way down when he does pit. So, there we are. Loco sneaks his way back through, makes up one position. A little bit of respite from his incident earlier on. Let's get another familiar situation on the cameras. These two, well, they've had a lot of airtime, and it's kind of a shame that Kig doesn't have a livery on here because he could have got a lot of sponsors for his. A lot of airtime for his sponsors. Possibly the livery hasn't loaded on our end, so apologies for that, but there we are.
There's Asker pitting. So they may have a new challenger, Keegan Augustin. It should be close though. Let's see, Asker, yes, 10.36 with a refuel. So that's going to be just about clear. You see there, Kig and Augustin once more on the warpath, and the undercut spares Kig there. He was able to use that the curbs and avoid Augustin, who went high and just lost that momentum.
Well, this is a great little fight. I like to see this. And back he comes again. This fight is just going to go on and on and on and on and on. But I like to see it. It's good. It's not fast. It's not the fastest way around the track. They're going to get caught probably by Soini, but they're having fun, and I like to see drivers having fun. We're having fun watching it.
Yeah, they just can't get rid of each other. And
But we have
maybe...
our race leader in Yannick Attila pits.
Oh,
Okay,
Pit.
here we go. Well spotted,
Let's
Eoin.
see
We don't
how
want to
this
miss
turns
this
out.
one. He's gone in the last pit box, but it looks like Mantas is going to be easily through, is he?
Yeah, should be. Just a couple of seconds, maybe.
Wow, I mean,
Mantas.
I don't believe
Not
it.
that far, though.
Wow, that's a long way. That's a lot longer than I thought. Did Yoni have a problem coming into the pits? Look at that gap. The gap that Yoni gained on the track, it came down. The gap to Mantas went up, which means Yoni was making gains, and Mantas has absolutely disappeared. So I wonder whether Yoni had a bit of a tentative entry into pit lane, maybe, or something happened, because that gap looks to be too big for the gains that Yoni made while he was out on track, while Mantas pitted. Don't quote me on that, but that's just my opinion. That's what I saw from the numbers. I'm a bit surprised by that gap, to be honest.
3.5 seconds in the second split. Yeah, I feel like I agree with you, Pete. It should have come down just a little bit more. But maybe there's a little bit of time left for Yanni to reel in Mantas, but I don't think it's enough unless he really gets into the 2-minute twos all of a sudden with that extra pit stop he had to make. And he took, I don't know if he took fuel on board, actually, I forget. But yeah, he did. So thanks for that, Chris. Yeah, so he has a little bit more fuel on board, but you'll have to really hit those incredible lap times to stand a chance of victory.
Yeah, super stuff. I mean, 3.6 seconds, something happened, I think. That's not all down to Mantas's pace, I don't think. Yeah, so unfortunately, we've not been given the grandstand finish yet that we hoped for, but still, testament really to the consistency and pace of Mantas, who has burst onto the scene for Born to Race and is putting in very, very solid results recently. It cannot be overstated. Very, very impressed with what I'm seeing from Mantas in all of the series that he's competing in, and especially the ones we're covering on Sim Broadcasts here. I think you two will agree. Chris in our ears has told us that because Yoni chose the last pit box, and this is something that occurs at quite a few tracks in Live for Speed and indeed in the real world, if you have the last pit box, you cannot be fully up to speed before you leave pit lane, and that gives you a disadvantage. In this case, Yoni Attila had a 20 or so kilometre an hour disadvantage leaving the pit lane, which means he gave up time because he didn't pit in an earlier pit box. If you get up to speed, if you come from full speed down to a stationary stop and then get back up to full speed while you are in pit lane, that is the fastest way through. So Yannick Attila gave up time by using that last pit box.
That's quite an interesting one. Like you could think Joni is so experienced that he would have think about that beforehand, but maybe he just thought it wouldn't make that much of a difference, and it kind of surprised him a bit. Or then he just forgot about the whole thing.
Well, some drivers do use the last pit box. It's very common for them to do it, but in some places it doesn't make too much of a difference because they're either massively in the lead or massively behind, and we don't really notice it. But when there's a fight on for the lead, speed difference is very, very important, and that is what you get. Some changes for position further back. We've got Yaroloco and Pablo having a bit of a ding-dong in the middle here as we head under the underpass. Pablo will have a bit of a run, will he? Yep, pulls out of the slipstream and tries to get alongside his fellow South American.
He's through Yaroloco with an adjustment, thinking he can get behind Pablo. Now he can. He might have mistimed that just a little bit. He didn't want to hit Pablo's rear left quarter there, and now he has a chance for the return slipstream. But Pablo will be pleased with this. He knows he has a chance to beat Yaroloco on track. He's gonna stay where he is. That allows Yaroloco to speed back through. But yeah, definitely the pressure will be on your loco to hang on to this result. And you can spot in the background race greens, top runner today, Magic, has the opportunity to pounce if anything happens here.
He does indeed, and in the dying moments, it looks like Mantas has got this in the bag. The times continue to drop yet again to Yoni, but he's doing just enough right now. 4 laps to go, including this one, and he has got 2 hands on the trophy for this one. I think Yoni is going to have to do something pretty special to get this one back on pace, unless Mantas makes an error somewhere. Fatal, well, he's got some sweat on his brow because Rick Cardle and Upsas are not far behind. This is going to be awesome. I think this is the battle we've got to keep our eyes out for. Miika.
I can see this going into a 3-way battle in the end. It would be at least interesting to see. We can always hope. Oops,
yeah, Rick is the kingmaker here. If he cooperates with Upsas, they'll gain even more time, leaving Fatal even more stranded.
Yeah, these guys are so level on pace. It's we can't say it enough. Really, the consistency is there. So these guys, the 2 guys behind are at the advantage because they have the one tool in their arsenal that Upsas doesn't have, and that's the slipstream. But it doesn't appear as though. Sorry, I meant to say that Fatal doesn't have that, but Rick Cardle and Upsas can use the slipstream on one another. But Upsas didn't get a good enough exit to do it on that attempt. Rick Cardle slightly onto the grass, bit of a wiggle. That won't help him either.
Just to update the Yarloco Pablo situation, Yarloco went wide at the final corner. Pablo clean through, and Magic with the drafting may just be able to get the inside line for turn 2. He's using all of that AstroTurf. Yarloco may just have to concede the positions here and try again with the remaining laps. Yeah, he's actually regrouped nicely for turn 3 coming up. And that could be the turn 4 braking side by side. He could get it done here now, everyone. Yes, that should be okay, but Magic still has a lot of pace. The double apex 5 and 6. Oh yeah, just about for Yarloco. So he nearly lost 2 positions, but he's gained 1 back.
Yeah, Magic's someone who's been off the radar in this race. He was at the back for most of it because he pitted so early, and now look where he is. He's in P10. I mean, this is a good effort, and he's having a nice little fight to round it up as well with Yarloco. I reckon if Yarloco makes another mistake, Magic can dust his hands of Yarloco because Pablo has done just that. He's got a bit of an advantage now, but yeah, good result either way for these guys, and a good battle nonetheless. As Mantas comes up to start finish to make it 2 to go in round number 8 of the RTFR XL Championship, and he's got a 3-second gap still, and Yoni Katilla steals the fastest lap away provisionally from Fatal. Fatal had it for the last time around, which means Fatal is doing good work. He's doing good work to keep ahead of Rick Cardle and Upsas, who themselves have spaced out a bit. So that grandstand finish we were teeing up might not happen. Or it might. Both of them going onto the grass.
That's correct. Yeah, not enough dirt to really put these cars out of their ideal performance. But yeah, that should be good news for Fatal, who can carry on undisturbed, hopefully. Like if you really get a lot of pickup, then you'll start to feel the effects, especially on a car like this. The tire profile is quite small. And any build-up would definitely make a difference. Here's Magic and Yarloco with another take in their escapades here. Magic has regained that position. So Yarloco having a roller coaster ride to conclude his Westhill national performance today. Now
yeah, this is good stuff. Yeah, I kind of hope he keeps it. He's been sat at the back, and Yarloco has made too many mistakes for my liking in this race. So Magic Magic, the more consistent in this one, deserving of a P9, I'd say. Let's see if Yarloco can get it back towards the end on pace, because Yarloco has had the pace over Magic this race, but not the consistency. So consistency in a longer race is always the thing that pays off over one lap raw pace. But yeah, these three have basically been together the whole race, and either one of them probably deserving of it, deserving of the P8 that they're fighting for. But it does look like Pablo's got that in the bag just now. Yes, the gap at the front still holding around 3 seconds, so super consistency from our front two there. Fatal 8 seconds off the lead, Rick Cardle 9 seconds off the lead, and Upsas 10 seconds. So the top five separated by 10 seconds then in this one as we hit the final lap, and it is Born to Race Mantas who shoots himself through P2, and well, he's only got a few corners left before he can consider this one signed, sealed, and delivered.
Yeah, he's got the winning marker in his hand. He's going to put the pressure on the paper, and then just needs to put those dots on the I's and certainly cross the T. That's what he'll want most of all, I'm sure.
Any more metaphors from Miika?
Not from my side, yeah. Just push the last lap and don't make any mistakes.
Bit of fun.
Bit of fun. Maybe Chris has got some for us in our ears. He's been remarkably quiet about that, but there we are. We've got Mantas just a couple of corners away from the victory, potentially. Joni Katila will be there if there are any last-minute errors. Fatal looks to be in the prime position for another podium this season. Much improved from Mantas, much improved from Fatal. And Joni, well, Joni is going to have his eyes wide open to these guys because normally it's a walk in the park for him, but the GTI trophy is not going his way this afternoon right now. He will have to settle for P2, and let's see, can Mantas grab the fastest lap away on the final lap? I don't think so. Joni's been taking some time out of him in this final lap, and that is definitely a flourish around the final corner, and why not? He's done a great job from start to finish. He had a bit of a fight with Joni at the beginning. These two fought wheel to wheel, but it looks like it's going to be a very comfortable victory in the end for Born to Race Mantas, who comes across the line with a little bit of a flourish. Then it's Joni Katila for World Class Lines, and then a little bit of a wait then for Fragmaster's fantastic race.
Upsas is taunting as well. He's able to hold the clutch down and go backwards without too much threat. I love doing that on the old PlayStation F1 games, but the risk of disqualification. Oh, maybe not. No, he's blown it, I think. Unite will be Upsas to the line.
Did he actually beat him?
Unite,
like
Unite is going to be timed ahead of Upsas.
Oh no, that's unlucky.
Critical misjudgment there. Didn't quite make it to the line. He needed probably to put in actual reverse.
Yeah, just turn it sideways just before the line. So it was quite unlucky.
Well, a pretty dramatic end to what happened there. I mean, Upsas, what on earth happened there? I mean, we didn't quite catch it on the cameras, but you don't flourish before the job is done, and that's sometimes what happens. A bit unusual.
Yeah, he was too confident with the gap behind him, so he just thought to have a little bit of fun, and then it was just a little misjudgment, and well, it's his own fault, of course. But that happens. Maybe he's not too upset about that.
That is all of the results in, and that therefore we get to look through the final results, the classified results for this round number 8 of the 2022 season of Rony's Tuesday Fun Race Extra Large. It was Born to Race Mantas dominantly winning today in 1 hour, 16 minutes, 41 seconds, and 98 hundredths, with Joni Katila in P2 and Fragmaster's Fatal in P3. Rounding out our top 10 were Rick Cardle, Unite, Upsas Loco, Yarra Loco Magic, and Pablo. A good battle at the back of this group towards the end, and you can see just how close they were at the finish. 8th through 10th separated by nothing, pretty much. That's pretty impressive. Then we have Pekka Koivunen, who he dropped off of the radar after pitting super early. He came into some trouble later on, and that means he finishes P11, 50 seconds off the lead. A big void to him and P10, larger than I would have expected, to be honest, but there we are. He was in a fight at the end with Thamuli, Jari Katila, Asker, Agustin, Kig, and Soini, with Rony rounding out the 18 finishes that we had. And then the first of the non-finishers was Born to Race Twin Cam. He pitted very early, got into some trouble, and decided to end his race early in the pit lane. Then Donny, a similar story, but he finished with a bit of an accident. He went off in the infield, hit the barrier, and it just he lost a little bit of interest, and that is what happened to the end at the end of his race. We do have a second page of results, I believe. Here it is. Just two cars, Gonza and Born to Race 136 miles an hour, round out our 22 classified finishes. Joni Katila has the fastest lap in the end with a 2-minute 2.88. And that is that. Thank you, gents, for joining me. It was a really, really fun one this week, I have to say. GTIs, they never stop impressing, do they?
Not at all. They're really encouraging to drive. They'll be a little bit, as you've probably alluded to before, Pete. They are the beginner's car. When you boot up the game for the first time, it's the most likely pick you're gonna choose when you're trying out LFS for the first time. So once you get the general gist of the car, it becomes very rewarding to drive. And we saw it today with all kinds of battles and trading of fastest laps, or just all around good fun.
Yeah, and what was also interesting with these pit stop tactics, that some people stopped so early, which is quite unusual. Unfortunately, of course, some of them did not finish in the end, but at least we saw something like very unusual happening on there.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And I think that will be one of the main takeaways, actually, Miika, because, yeah, you're right. I don't remember, and I mentioned it during the broadcast, I don't remember a time where we've had so many cars coming into the pits kind of like as a trickle throughout the whole race. You know, some people pitted on lap 1, 5, etc., to the end, and it's like, that doesn't happen very often. So it'd be interesting to get some takes from the drivers after we go off air, actually, to find out just what on earth was going on. We could probably consult the replay for some of the answers, but very unusual, not what we usually see, but it did mean we had an interesting development during the race, and I don't think the back of the grid would have been as interesting had that not happened. So double-edged sword, I guess. There we are. And that's all we have time for pretty much here tonight. You can join us for more Rony's action next Tuesday as we have a mod, the LFS RM LS GTI mod, bit of a mouthful. There we are. Around the track escapes me. I think it's somewhere at Aston. I think it's Aston Grand Touring or Aston Historic. It's AS4. So AS4 reversed, I think. Join us then for that. We've been Sim Broadcast. I hope you enjoyed tonight's broadcast. If you did, please follow, like, subscribe, do all the good stuff on Twitch or YouTube, wherever you've been watching. Check out the video on demand later on, and hopefully we'll see you either as a viewer or a driver over our summer coverage of RTFR and Fragmasters GTI Thursday series. Miika, Eoin, and Chris in the background. It's been a pleasure as always, and I hope you have a good evening, and I hope all the rest of the viewers have a good evening too. We'll see you at the next one. Take care. Have a good one.
So long.
Yeah, have a good one.